In section 6.1, this has to deal with distances and velocity. And a lot of these problems are going to describe a situation, and they want us to make a graph for not only the distance, but for the velocity. So these can be kind of tricky. They take kind of a lot of practice. If you look at the box at the top, it says velocity is the rate of change in directed distance. When the directed distance is increasing, the velocity is positive. When the directed distance is decreasing, the velocity is negative. And when the directed distance is not changing, the velocity is zero. So this is definitely important to remember with these. So if we look at number 1, let's first look at the distance. And we are starting out at home in this situation, and we're driving, and then at some point, so we are going to be going up further away. At some point, we are going to turn around. So this is home. At some point, I want to turn around. And then I'm coming back and I'm retrieving my wallet. Now it takes me a little bit of time to retrieve my wallet, so that's going to be kind of a straight line. And it's at home. Since everything is with regards to home, that's at the axis there. And then we're going to continue upwards after that. So I like to usually kind of mark out where my graph's going to be before I draw it. So I'm going to kind of connect my dots now. So I'm getting further away from home, and then I get to this point where I want to turn around. Then I come back, and I make it back home, and I'm retrieving the wallet here. I forgot to mark it. You don't have to label it if you don't want to. So retrieve the wallet. Actually, I don't think you can label it on WebAssign. And then we are going back up. So that's kind of modeling the distance away from home. Velocity, I need to be careful here because velocity is like your speed. So whenever your velocity is 0, that means that your distance is not changing. So we have to be kind of careful here because definitely at home it's going to be 0. And also when we turn around, it's going to be 0. And then also when we retrieve the wallet, it's going to be 0. So again, this is kind of tricky. Our velocity is going to build up, and then it's going to be at a constant, and that's because they say that it's set to cruise. And then it's going to slow down when we turn around and get to 0 because we're going to stop the car. And then we're going to return home. So I'm actually going to have a negative velocity because this is the return trip. So I'm returning. I didn't give myself enough room down here. This is the return cruise control. And then that comes back up. These should actually be the same distance because he notices his wallet, returns home. So it's the same. They should be the same. I'm not going to be that picky if they're not. Okay, so then after we retrieve the wallet, then we're going to resume our trip as normal. And it says that he sets the cruise control to higher. So for that, I just want to make sure that the peak is higher here than it was over here. So this is going to be my graph. Again, very tricky, and it definitely takes a lot of practice to kind of get used to these.